Okay, so today we're going to do a quick before and after of our kitchen. I'm going to go over some of the changes that were made and then give you a quick shot of the before, what you're seeing now, and then the after. We left the city and moved to the country to buy our first home. Now it's renovation time. Welcome to the Do-It-Yourself. Welcome to our ugly kitchen. We bought this place, and there were certain things that I fell in love with when I saw the home. The actual kitchen itself is not one of them. What I did love were all of the windows. So there were a lot of windows. You got a lot of sunlight coming in. You got a nice view, and I saw that there was a lot of potential, but I knew that there was going to be a lot of work to be done. But that is something that I fell in love with. So once we decided to purchase it, started making plans on renovating this thing. So let's just quickly go over some of the things that you see here. Before I continue, I actually want to thank the people that we bought the house from, because they left the refrigerator, the microwave, the stove, the oven, washer and dryer. So they left a lot of things that we were able to use, and as a result, we were able to put money, focus our funds on actually doing renovations. So that really did help us out a lot. But this kitchen is very old. As you can see, the floor is this linoleum mess. The walls are blue. The cabinets are brown. The backsplash is, I don't know what that material is. I'll find out later. They left this bar here as well with these bar stools, and that was really nice of them. One thing that I hated was this sink. The faucet, the sink is just ugly. Not only is the sink ugly, I hate dual sinks. And the sink is so shallow that it was really hard to use. You couldn't really wash pots or pans in them because they were so shallow, and this was something that I wanted to get rid of right away. So really, that's really what I'm going to be focusing on in this video, is the work that I had to do to replace that sink. That was actually the very first thing that I did. So let's get over to some demo time. All right, so first thing I did was I pulled up the counters. I had to cut them in pieces and take them out. It was fairly easy. It wasn't granite. It was some kind of laminate over a sheet of wood. So I pulled that out. Started pulling off that black backsplash. To this day, I don't know what that stuff was. It was like this sheet of hard plastic that was glued to the wall. So I don't know what that was. It was very sharp, though. The edges were very sharp. But it was this really flat plastic. It seemed like it was plastic. I don't know what it was that was glued onto the wall. So I just had to rip that off, not cut myself. There were pieces that I could not take off, as you can see here. Pieces that just wouldn't come off. Well, if I move the camera up, there you go. There were pieces that just wouldn't come off. So I had to deal with that later on. Eventually, they did come off once I really worked at it. But all in all, this part of the demo wasn't that difficult. This was the new sink that I was going to use in this kitchen. Loved the sink, wanted a farmhouse sink. Couldn't afford the porcelain one, so I got this. But then I ran into this issue. Never done this stuff before. So that sink has to go in here. But you got this in the way. This piece where the faux drawer was, that little false drawer. So I had taken everything out, removed the garbage disposal, took out all the plumbing. I had plumbing issues a little later on, because again, this is all new. It's a do-it-yourselfer. You learn stuff as you go. So plumbing and stuff, electrical work, I had to learn all that stuff as I went. But as far as putting the sink in, I learned the hard way that I have to make modifications to the actual cabinetry, which I didn't know. That's another thing you learn on the fly. It's carpentry. So I had to work to set it up so that this bad boy here would actually fit in the place where that old shallow sink was. So I had to go out, spend a lot of money, and buy all this stuff. So if you're a do-it-yourselfer, sometimes you're going to have to spend money in the beginning, setting up all of your tools, getting all the tools that you're going to need for the future, getting materials like these wooden pieces. Most of this stuff that I have here, I purchased for this job, but I knew I was going to need it later on, so I just bit the bullet and spent the money and bought it. But again, a lot of this stuff was used just for this specific project. And these stupid clamps that were cheap and broke very easily. Wasted my money. So here I had to cut out part of the cabinet so that the sink, because the sink sits down, and then obviously if it's a farmhouse sink, it protrudes out a little bit. So you have the apron that sticks out, and you can't have that faux drawer panel piece thing in the way. So I had to cut this out. I made some really jagged cuts. This little piece here is just a standalone piece. This is what the two doors close up against. So I had to leave that there and just pray that it didn't fall off, or that that I didn't have any problems with it in the future. And again, this is stuff I learned all on the fly. Just used the saw, cut it out. I couldn't find a lot of information online about how to do this, so I kind of had to figure it out. There goes that plumbing issue. Got some water. I think that water was leaking because I had moved stuff around and was on disconnecting pipes, and that's why that water was there. But got my pieces here. Got my sanding paper so I can rub down some of the sharp edges. And then I just start measuring, cutting, and attaching these braces so that I can start to make the frame that the farmhouse sink will sit in. And here's what it looks like. So this is the frame here. The sink will sit in that. The front apron piece will rest on that little lower front piece. It has those back legs, or that back support section, and then it has those two legs on the side which will hold it up. Again, had to learn this all on my own. You're going to need math and common sense, but you can do it. Do it yourself, or you're going to have to figure all that stuff out. I got all these little braces so that I can make these little feet on the bottom of the frame. And after I attached the pieces together, I knew I needed them to not only stand up straight, but to be able to attach to the floor. So I put these little braces on, to attach everything, keep it all solid and stable, so it's not wobbling around, give it some strength. And then this little front piece, again, the apron's going to be sitting on that. And then you have these little feet at the bottom, which will screw into the floor or into the base of the cabinet that, wherever under the sink. So those will screw into the floor and hold it in place so that it's not rocking back and forth, and so that you have some stability. Because remember, the sink is going to, once it gets full with water, it's going to sink down, and once you release the water, it'll not lift back up, but pop back up to its normal weight. So that was all done. Got some pieces left here that I'm going to install a little bit later. But I just wanted to make sure that it actually fit into the frame. So I will put these on, I guess, after I make sure that it's level. Put everything together, put in that farmhouse sink. Covers up a lot of the stuff nicely, a lot of the mistakes that I made, have everything screwed down, and just going to make sure that it's level, and it is level enough. So that's what you want. So you got to do a lot of measuring to make sure that everything is going in properly, which I did. Now I got these doors left that were on the front. They're not going to fit anymore, so I'm going to have to now cut those down. So the tops I'm going to have to cut off so that they can fit back in there. Now, when I say math, you're going to need, when you're building things, you're going to need little plans, little blueprints. And I can't tell you how much this helped me, just drawing it out so I knew what it was going to look like, and then finding out how many pieces I need, how much it was going to cost, what the size, the measurements were going to be for each piece. The beauty about that is I didn't have all the tools that I have now back then. So when I was doing this project, so I just took the measurements to Home Depot, bought the wood, told them the measurements, asked them to cut the pieces for me, and they did a lot of the cuts for me. So as a do-it-yourselfer, you do it yourself and you get it done. Now I got to figure out what I'm going to do with these floors. All right, so all the floors were pulled up. I'm not going to go into everything that we did. I'm just going over briefly over some of the stuff that we did. This is really just supposed to be a before and after, but we pulled up all of the floors. We're going to lay down some vinyl plank flooring. Got the sink in, the countertops. Don't that look nice? Countertop we got from the local Home Depot. I think it was on sale. There was another countertop that we wanted, but it wasn't on sale, so we got this quartz instead. Now we have to deal with these cabinet doors, which are brown, doo-doo brown, and we don't want them to look that way, so I have to figure that out. Again, we also have this island that we're going to do a quick little, not quick, but we're going to do a fairly simple, I don't know how you'd say it, a fairly simple update to. So this is the before, doo-doo brown cabinets, linoleum floor, crappy wooden counter with laminate, and just blue walls. And this is our after. This is exactly what we wanted. We wanted a kitchen that was primarily white so that we could change the color whenever we wanted. We could, I guess, create whatever theme we wanted based on whatever colors we decided to put in. And I think that's something that most people should think about instead of depending on what the room is. If it's a room that you want to be able to update every so often, you should probably leave it white so that it's like a blank canvas so that you can do whatever you want with. So it's fall, so we got some fallish looking colors in the little fake leaves that we put in. Got a vase that we spray painted half white so it looks like the flowers are sitting in a thing of milk. And these little candle mug thingies on the little table. This table we got for $15 at an estate sale. We just painted the legs so that it went with the white. We left the top brown. Cabinets are no longer doo-doo brown. They are now white. Tiling has been done. That was white as well. Of course, you remember this thing, don't you? The countertops, obviously, you remember. The doors at the bottom of the sink were cut and they fit in perfectly. Backsplash. We had some leftover subway tiles, so we went with that in order to save money. I don't want to go into how. The little mosaic here, I didn't know what I wanted. Finally wound up settling on this because, again, we decided let's make everything white and then we want to make any changes we can. Got this Whirlpool microwave that is very short so that it doesn't take up too much space. And this here is the black island that we had. We did our best to paint it, refinish the top, and then just again we had an old vase. We spray painted that. We put in some flowers to make it look like fall, give it a fall-esque look, and set everything up. Got the same counter, same stools. There's little changes that we're going to continue to make, but this is how it looks now. As you can see, this is the flooring that we put in. Changed the vent registers on the floor as well to update that, and just added little personal things. So again, there are changes that we're going to make going forward, but one of the changes is the ceiling. We had like this textured ceiling. I had to redo that. Got rid of the lights. We had a fluorescent light. Wife found these on one of the websites big box websites. We purchased it and just changed out all the lights. Had to do some electrical work. And since I'm talking about lights and electrical work, see these bulbs have these little switches at the top? You can click the switch, change the light on the bulb to whatever, not whatever color, but it has these 3 different colors. So I thought that was cool, and I wanted to mention that. Look into that. This corner here, this is one of the changes we still have to make. I'm going to build a little cabinet where I can store my recyclables and my garbage, and this little microwave tray stand thing that we had since we were in the city. I don't know what we'll do with, but that will no longer be there. So this was the fruit of our labors. This was the not the final shot. There's going to be other stuff. We want to replace appliances. There are other little things that we want to do here and there. But this is the result of doing it yourself. Just taking your time, saving up your money, putting in the work, and you'll get something that you love. Thank you for joining us.